What's up, Oso? I'm thinking Junkie should be here any minute. I just sent him the links a minute or two ago, so he'll be here. You working right now, Oso?
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I'm having a hard time hearing you there.
Hold on a second.
All right. Hold on here. All right. What's that one? I can hear you a little bit now.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I decided I was going to do that differently, and I shouldn't have decided that.
Oh, what'd you try to do?
I was just doing it without my earbuds, but that just doesn't. It's just too complicated.
Yeah, I understand.
Harley Harley Adams already getting salty.
Who is?
Well, okay, so I titled the stream. If anybody pays attention, they know that these stream titles don't get a whole lot of thought from me. So, uh, I just titled this one "Sub to Jay Young and Sub to Trim Life." I told Chuck a couple hours ago we would
I'll promote his channel.
yeah, we'd plug his channel for him because he's moving over. He's going to do the daily live stream, I guess, on. He's going to divide it. The more official stuff, quote unquote, is going to be on Auto Pro Interiors channel, and then kind of the casual conversation stuff is going to be on Trim Life. So he's still not up to 100 subs on Trim Life, so he can't live stream. I guess from mobile.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, I don't know why YouTube does it that way, but you should be able to live stream, right away. But
well, you can live stream, you just can't do it from mobile. I first live streamed when I had, I think, officially like 45 subs.
yes.
I just couldn't do it from mobile until I got to 100. So I think he wants to do it. I don't know if he wants to do it from his iPad or what, but I know Jason wants to do his from his phone because that's what's most convenient for him. So that's why he wanted to get to 100. If anybody in the chat could find links to Trim Life and to Jay Young's new channel and just occasionally scroll those in, that would help. What's up, everybody? Yeah, Adam, I knew you were joking.
Yeah, what's going on? I thought it'd be fun to talk to you. What do you got going on?
Man, I got so much. I got a lot of business stuff happening, and no, I got nothing. I got nothing going on.
Oh, I got nothing going on tonight. We got canceled again. It's not even raining here, and they fucking canceled us. I'm like, ah.
So hey, here's the thing. He says my audio's low. Whose audio's low? So
Whose is low?
oh, you know what? That was an old comment. My bad.
Okay.
I think I fixed it with the with that. Okay, so question number one, and I didn't prepare questions ahead of time other than off the top of my head, but here's question number one. Are we going to see the Junkie live from the center of the storm? Are we going to see Junkie live from Houston?
Oh, I have not. The people that contacted me, I contacted them back and said, like kind of what's going on, what do you need, and they kind of gave like a brief overview, but they, like I didn't they're like, well, it's going to be a FEMA thing and all this shit, and so I'm like, I'm kind of hesitant to kind of load up shop and go down there because A, I don't know where to go, and B, I don't know how you're going to get paid. Like we can't go down there and work 1,000 hours and then wait 4 months to get paid. I'll go out of business
Right.
way before that. So I'm just kind of playing it by ear. I would say, there's probably a 25% chance I may go. I may not. Just depends. Right now, there's no use going down there. Everything's still flooded. You have to wait a couple weeks, I think.
Well, they said that FEMA was going to be there. Somebody said, well, they had some FEMA director on I was listening to, and he said they asked him if he was going to be in there for months. And he said, no, we're going to be in there for years. This is a long-term thing, rebuilding all that stuff. So,
yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be, shit. They're going to be down there cleaning up for, I would say, a year or two, And if I was smart, I'd just buy some trucks and send them down there and then hire people down there. But I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, it seems like I'd be a little bit more involved.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me move the thing closer. Is my audio better now?
Yeah, it's fine. I think he also was just saying that from having the.
Well, Hardknocks Forge said something too.
Hold on a sec. Hey, I'm in the middle of a live stream. Could I call you back in a little while?
Quit doing that, Boy George. How long?
Oh, probably an hour and a half.
Let me go pee real quick.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, all right. Bye. Did he just say, let me go pee? Couldn't he have done the decent thing and said, let me go take a leak? What's up, Gary D? Hey, hi, everybody. Hey, Firehawk, I saw you on here a second ago. What's up, man? What's up, Firehawk? Hey, John Erickson, how many channels do you have? Because I'm seeing...
Who has so many channels?
Well, I can't tell if this is the same. I'm really wary of, I just won't go there. I'm just wondering how many channels John Erickson has.
I've only seen him on that one, the John Erickson channel. Are you looking at the M1 Firehawk?
No, I just outed him. Okay, so when that whole Timmy thing went down, I had known about that at that point for about 2.5, 3 months. I'd known about that since March. I think you asked me a question about it in late May or June. You asked me like in a live stream, and you were the first person other than Keith I had talked to about it at all. Okay, but I'm saying that to say this. Jay Young knew about it probably a month or a month and a half after that and said something to me about it. I just kept quiet with it. Jay Young made a comment. He said, oh, man, you guys, there's a whole other side to YouTube that we didn't know about. And I thought, no, I knew about it. I've known about it for years. There's a whole bunch of those different sides. So M1 Firehawk is big on Toolboss's live stream. I don't know if you know about Toolboss or not, but he's one of the people who might be coming to Frank Imtek's meetup this weekend. But so M1 Firehawk has a channel. He's only, if you guys want to, you guys should subscribe to him. He's only got 15 subs, and he does make some videos. But he's out of Chicago, and he's big on Toolboss's live stream. So Toolboss is like, I think he does landscaping and maybe some construction stuff, but he'll live stream a couple times a week, and I go over there. Top Wolf is in there. Hard Knocks has come in there now. Oso's kind of been OG with him. Emery's over there. So it's some of the same people, but he's kind of got his own crew too.
His own following.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of there's some cross pollination, but occasionally it's kind of like going into Eric O's live stream and seeing 20 or 30 people in there, but that's out of like several hundred who are in the chat, and you realize, oh, okay, there's a whole other side to this. So you start clicking random channels from that chat, and you find out, oh, so that's so and so. He's got 600 subs, and he makes videos or whatever. So you think, wow, there's a whole other world out there.
Yeah, there is a whole other world to YouTube. The more that you start opening it up, I don't understand why a lot of people's they don't come up in the feeds. And I didn't know, this is just a thing that I kind of recognized. If you go to your homepage on your YouTube channel, actually on a real computer, down there, it'll say recommended channels.
Right.
Have you ever noticed that before? Well, to get yours out, you have to click enabled. And then the recommended channels that YouTube picked for you, your videos will now be seen in their feeds next to it.
Huh.
So you can hit enable or disenable. And then it says, if you hit disenable, you can, your stuff won't be out there.
It's interesting. I think I have done that. I know that on my channel I have featured channels, and I probably got about 12 in there, and it's basically anybody who's around my size of channel and lower who makes videos. I tried to put them in there as featured, but your YouTube homepage, so to speak, nobody ever goes to that anymore. That used to be before they had the subscription feed and all that. You'd have to go check at everybody's but that was years ago.
Oh, well, I just noticed it this week because I started seeing it on there, and I'm like, I wonder what this enabled and disabled means, and that's what it was.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Marcus?
Yeah, I've watched a couple Tool Boss things, but man, he dragged out a KC Tool unboxing live for an hour and 27 minutes.
That's because he's talking. That's because he's talking to everybody in the chat.
I was like, whoa, dude, I ain't got time for all this. I was like, an hour and 26 minutes? Come on, man. I just didn't get it.
Well, he likes to chat. He'll chat you up. That's the thing. He gets new people in there all the time, and he's usually with his live streams, if he does 2 or 3 a week, usually they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he's very conversational, and he does try to interact quite a bit.
I understand. It's hard to interact. Like I had that one where we had 100 people in there earlier in the week, and man, it's scrolling by so fast. You can't talk that. By the time you answer one question, there's 9. You got 9 other questions built up.
Yeah, no kidding.
What the hell is going on here? I mean, that's great that people are getting more popular, but oh my God, I was struggling with it. Oh, and you got banned from whose?
Who are you talking to? Sorry, I'm sending a text.
Oh, okay. No, M1 Firehawk said he got banned. That's probably, they must be talking about Timmy's channel. I think everybody's got banned. I'm trying to get myself on band 9 just so I can have Elite Company. But I don't know if that dude's going to make band 9.
Yeah, he's really dragging his feet on that. I think he sees how much negative publicity. Look, when you just broke 1 million views recently and you got like 600 videos, come on, bud. You got 5,500 subs. You've been at this thing for several years now. You just a couple months ago broke 1 million total channel views, and you got over 600 videos. You got no interaction. That's what he's got.
Yeah, but
and he bought subs. A certain unnamed source sent me did I send you that?
No, I knew about it because I went on there after he hit 5,000. I went on there and I was like, let's see how many of this dude is really getting a day. And I saw he went to almost 6,700 in one day. I'm like,
Yep.
wait a minute.
And then the next day they took all but about 5 of them back.
Yes. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're buying subs. So that tells me that you bought subs. I think his true number of subs is 5 and maybe 700 would be the top.
Well, I can't. Yeah, it's hard to tell one way or the other. I used to be sub to him, but somebody said in I think it was Chuck earlier, goes, wow, you only got 175 subs, MD. I thought you had way more than that. And I told him, well, that's too many. I got more than I want right now. I wish some of these people had done sub, quite honestly. I'm just kidding. But I'm saying it's not about your sub count. It's about how much engagement you can get. You can have all the subs in the world, but if they only watch every 20th video, what gives?
Yeah, like after we talked that night for 2 hours on the telephone, on the way home, or the next day, I looked up at that top text videos.
Yeah.
And I got what you were saying about that they were all African American. So I was like, okay. And then the way that you said he was doing his videos, I totally understood what you meant by.
Careful what you say here, because not all my theories on that are public.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I was just saying that I looked at it and I'm like, they're doing exactly what you talked about. Like once I started looking at it and how he's setting up his channel, I think that you hit the nail right on the head there. Like he's trying to get further reach than regular YouTube. And when I did that video, when I talked about the free speech in the comments, I've actually learned some stuff by reading the comments of my videos, and I'm going to put that to use next time I do a break video on a truck, which I have Monday, Labor Day weekend to do. But I'm just saying you can't out here, you can't be blocking everybody that makes a comment or whatever, because then you have zero engagement and you make zero money. Because another thing that's funny is if you go on Social Blade, he's getting 7,000 views a day, but the videos don't add up to 7,000 views. That means you're getting, if you got one view on every video, that's only 600 views. I don't understand how he's putting the correlation together there.
Well, what he does, and I did tell you this, I told you a lot of things, and I'm probably over time I will make my theories on that public, but I kind of told you because I knew you would remember in the future if some of the stuff I said,
yes,
I think does come true, that I could go back to you and say, hey, remember when I told you that? Mark my words, that dude, he's going to shoot himself in the foot. He's gonna bite the hand that feeds him, and it's gonna come back on him. He's making a certain long-term play on that, and right now it looks like it's gonna make sense, but in the long run, it won't. He's building his house on definitely a shaky foundation with what he's doing. But the one thing that he does well is he puts the diagnostic trouble code in the title of the video. Just about every single time there's a check engine light where he does work on it, he'll put that, and he'll put the model of car on, because that's what people do. They search that in YouTube. And so if he's getting 7,000 channel views a day off of, or how many did it say, 7,000 a day?
Yeah, he was getting like almost 8,000 views a day on Social Blade. I'm like, there ain't no way.
Okay, but across 600 videos, if he's getting, well, what is that? About 12 or 13 views per video per day average. That isn't telling you how long they're staying in the video.
No.
They're only staying in, if they're only staying in for 20 seconds, he's still getting credit for that view. But they may see, especially with his early stuff with that shaky camera work and all that. So what if he casts a wider net? It's not necessarily reflective of whether or not he's retaining their viewership. He's getting that duration of video view, so to speak. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, like I just find the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I always go back to the numbers, and when the numbers don't add up, there's something fishy there. And I left a comment as soon as I saw that he put 1,500 views. I was like, dude, your channel is so fake. You just bought views, dude. Like, come on, man. You can't be doing that out here. If your channel's going to grow, it's going to grow. You know, like don't. Let's not make a whole bunch of, you know, to try to pump yourself up. You know, that's
Yeah.
what I that's what I see a lot of YouTube doing. You know, like well, Eddie's in here and he said he's been at it a year and only got 800 subs, and it's not like you know, it's not like I'm putting him down, but I'm, you know, I would say if you were doing it that long and you're not having success, maybe you have to change your plan, right?
It's deceptive. Um,
I mean, I'm not hating on anybody. I'm saying if you guys want to learn to grow your
no,
channel,
but like I told you that about Garnett, I told Jason that a month and a half or 2 months ago. Whenever he released the SK Ratchet video, I watched it because I thought, wow, you know, it's a really great video. And all Garnett's videos are like that as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
And he has gotten better and better and better. The one he put out today, it's great. Right. It's fantastic. He's got his own style. The guy's a perfectionist. He's doing it the way he wants to do it. And in the long run, that's how you have to do it. You can't do it anyone else's way. You have to do it your own way. You have to stay true. But having said that, before the SK video really kind of went viral, so to speak, on a minor level, he was still below, I think he was still below 2,000 subs. And over the course of a week and a half, he was like over 3,000. And what I heard, he had put that on Garage Journal, something like that.
Yes.
Okay, well, is that a cheat? I don't think so. I don't think it's a cheat at all. I think it's a really smart idea.
Smart idea.
He's so with applying that standard or that same rationale to what Eddie's doing. I think you have to market it in a different way. You have to do something different than what everyone else is doing. Maybe you could make a toolbox tour, some extravagant thing, and put it on Garage Journal. You're going to have to look for other avenues because the market is saturated. I've even thought about that with myself. I keep wanting to do a toolbox tour, but I think, well, you know, is there really any point to it? Would anybody be interested? And people, that is the one thing that people are consistently interested in, especially if you haven't put out a video yet like that. People like those toolbox tour videos. But at some point, how many thousand toolbox tours are on YouTube? So you can't expect to kind of create your own space doing what everyone else is doing. The market's just too saturated.
Yeah, well, I wasn't saying he had to do what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, sometimes you got to change your philosophy in how you're putting your videos together. You got to say, okay, let's look at who's been successful or whatever, and kind of, you know, learn how to. This is an evolution. It's not a. You're not going to come in and be the greatest video maker on day one. You know what I'm saying? So the way that I look at it is that, you know, toolbox tours are great. They get people to come to your channel for sure. But when you do 9 of them, that's probably too many in my estimation, because people keep asking me to do an updated toolbox tour, and I'm not, you know, I don't want, I have 4 on there. I don't feel like I need 5 and 6 and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think I made this, I don't want to rehash too much territory, but it's not a bad idea to revisit an idea a while later. Like I always go back to the Chris Fix gimmick where he does a ball joint video about every 8 or 9 months. And I mean, he constantly gets a high rate of views because just because you did a video like that before doesn't mean that everybody's seen it. You have a lot of new subscribers since last time, and maybe just maybe, he's a perfectionist and he looks at his own product and thinks, you know what, I think I could do that better than I did it the last time. So he's trying to improve on it himself, and there is going to be a certain segment of people, this guy right here, who watches every one of those ball joint videos because I think I want to get every last detail. I want to know everything that everybody does. I've seen every ball joint video on YouTube. I'm telling you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm known for a couple things. Winning all the time. That's like number one, 61006. That's what it's all about. But also, I have a channel, okay, and I got like closing in on 200 subs here purely by accident. I'm not known for my channel, okay, as far as my content. What I'm really known for is my viewership. Yes. I am an outstanding viewer of YouTube. I'm in an elite category, okay? There's only a couple of us on my level. And so when people, it was like I was trying to tell Brian the other night. He starts asking me questions like, well, how do you know about such and such, such and such? I said, Brian, I'm 15 layers deep, bro. Get on my level, okay? Don't question the kid. The kid has game, all right?
Yeah, I understand that. And I know that, like, you know, like we can talk about it. There's a dude wrenching with Kyle. He spams my channel like 3 times a week.
Oh.
And he was on Chuck's live stream earlier, and I told him, hey, bud, you got to stop spamming channels. Now, I'm going to tell you how Mike's Tool Sheds started taking off. Is he started leaving good comments on AVE's channel, and people were coming over there. Because if you read some of his comments, they're like, you know, people will be like, oh, I read your comment in AVE's video, and I come and check out your channel. So adding to the conversation in the chats is way more than coming over and saying, hey, nice video, go check out my channel. Like, that's going to go to spam every time, and it's going to get deleted. Don't do that.
Yeah, I actually like to apply reverse psychology. I'll have people, who was it, Bob? Bob was telling me the other day, I don't know how you get somebody say, the thing I have going for me, what's the name of my channel?
MD Lee 52.
Okay, what does everybody call me?
MD Lee. Okay,
so right in there, I have a built-in buffer. You have to look extra hard to find me. Like when Erico will say, yo, what's up, MD Lee, or whatever, because that was Bob was picking on. He goes, why is it Erico shouts you every time you come into a stream? And I said, well, it's because he trolls me every time, and he knows that he owes me one. So he'll try to make nice, and we all know who he is. We've all seen the video series, okay? The covers are off that one. No, but really, I have this built-in safety guard against getting too many extra subs because I don't have like an attractive channel name, and nobody calls me the actual name of the channel.
Yeah.
So you have to really look in order to find that. Well, I like it that way because I get anybody who's subscribed, it's because they wanted to go the extra mile to watch a stupid live stream a couple times a week.
Happened? Okay.
You all right?
Yeah, no, you just blocked out. I could hear you. No, I'm just saying that's, if you want to, like, if he was on here, if you want to get, you know, if you want to grow your channel, don't go on to other, I mean, there's a ton of videos that say don't go out and spam people's channels. You just don't do that. You know, I have a feeling we're getting to the point that we have so many channels, you know, that these guys are, you know, they're all fighting for the same space, and they're just going on everybody's channel and spamming everything. Well, that's like, dude, fuck, Jesus Christ, man. Like, it's so stressful. If I feel like obligated, like I'm obligated to go watch somebody's stuff, when it becomes a job for me, there goes the attraction to it. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I won't watch somebody, like, you know, like if somebody recommends their channel, I kind of like to find them on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
To be like, oh my God, I'm interested in what this guy has to say. If it's just the same video over and over again, I get kind of burnt out. Like, man, okay, I'm beyond that here. You know, like, I understand everybody has their favorite thing that they'd like to watch. I like to watch where they give you an entertaining, helpful hint in, 15 minutes of the video. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I like Dutch the Diesel Technician, and he's one that comes to mind because I got a notification for him earlier. The ones that are easy to watch is when they make a simple point and it takes them about 5 minutes. It's pretty rare that a video is over 10 minutes in length and it won't go in my watch laters, because I don't have the time throughout the day. I might have 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, but that's the stuff that you're really going to build your channel on. If you're doing consistently doing 25 or 30-minute videos where it really takes a time commitment, you're just not going to get that engagement from people right off the bat. Yeah, AVE is going to get that if he makes a 20-minute video all the time. People are going to watch that, but he has a way more established and larger subscriber base.
Yes. And his first videos were all under 10 minutes.
Yeah. Keith made the point. He says, Dr. Lee, that's what Keith calls me, MD.
Well, he's probably right.
Yeah, it goes back to what you say about engaging other people in their comment section. I like going and leave people comments that don't have a lot of comments. And it's always the same group of people. I'm going to sound like a broken record yet again, but it's like Rob's Wrenches, aka Shaka, Jackalope. Actually, I think John Erickson quite a bit. John Gibson. I've told you this. What's up, Frank? I told you this before. I'll have, over the last few years, when I've gone and commented on different automotive and tool related stuff, I would almost always see those guys in the comment section consistently. And so when I see him pop up in these chats, I think, oh man, I've kind of known of that guy for years and years and years. But that is a good way to build your channel, like you said, interacting with people. Also, yeah, you made that comment about Mike's tool shed, and if he does leave a comment that gets a lot of thumbs up and so on, and people look at his click on his channel and see that he actively makes videos, yeah, he's going to attract more subscribers that way too. You have to have some comment there for that really to pay dividends. If you're 30 or 40 good, solid, well put together videos deep, that's when you're really going to see that pay off, I think.
Yeah, you are. You know what I'm saying? And you have to, like we've talked about it, you got to carve out your own niche.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. Hard Knocks looks like he's working on his niche,
Yeah.
He's more videos.
Well, that's the struggle. That's the struggle with everyone, I think. That's the problem. When you get into if you don't have your video editing software down pat, it just
kills
that could be, so time consuming. Give us an idea, now that you've had the laptop for a couple of weeks, what's your editing time now as opposed to what it was with your old system?
Okay, I've cut it down by 75%. So I went to the Apple products and I downloaded. I'm using Final Cut Pro 10, which is really awesome. I really like that system better than the Camtasia that I was using. The Final Cut 10 is very similar. It's just more in depth. And I would say that it could do more than my skill level is at right now. So I'm experimenting with, different types of stuff, but it cut it down by 75%. So to do a video, like let's say my 40-minute repair video, you got to watch the whole, like you film it and then I watch the whole video, then you edit it and you're looking for where you paused, or you're trying to cut it down to a certain amount. So you kind of you take out some of the fluff, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I just haven't, I'm sure that I could get my cuts a little bit better and make them blend a little bit more with this Final Cut software. But it's like I said, my skill level is, not as good as the software itself.
Well, that's handy though. It's handy to have that capability.
But as far as putting it on YouTube, man, I mean, that 40-minute video took me 20 minutes to upload, and then it takes like 25 minutes to get in YouTube because I'm using the share option on there and stuff like that. But the latest videos I've been shooting are in 27K, then I render them into 4K, and I've been putting them up. So it's 1080p, but it's really crisp. Like if you look at my videos, they're starting to get where the color is getting right, and the movements are real smooth and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're stacking that paper.
Yeah, I'm stacking it. I'm trying to, get it to be a more crisp, clean video because that seems to be what the people like. You got to have your audio right and a crisp, clean, like clear video is what I've been noticing. Them are the videos that I'm starting to notice a little bit more.
But overall, you think you've reduced your editing time by apples to apples comparison, probably 75%.
75%, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a money wise, that's a no brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I realized it was a big investment, and I've invested a lot in my YouTube page. I mean, I definitely, I've invested $3,000 in a computer. I shoot in the GoPro with just a regular GoPro with a Rode mic on it. I shoot with that, and it's just, what was I going to say? It's about. So I've invested more than I've ever got paid on YouTube, and that's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
Let me ask a technical detail. You said you use a Rode microphone brand.
RODE.
Right, and is it it attaches then to the GoPro? Is it like a shotgun mic?
Yeah, it's the real small one.
Okay.
I don't have it in here. I put it back in the truck, but I could get it and show it to you guys. What my setup is.
It's not one that clips to the camera though.
Yeah. Do you want me to go get it? It'll only take a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah, I'll set it up here. So, guys, a shotgun mic is like a highly directional mic, and if you're not going to have a lavalier mic, one that clips to your lapel, they call that a lavalier microphone or a lav mic or a lapel mic. If you're not going to go that direction, then the next best option is probably a shotgun mic, because you can aim it right at where you're going to be sitting, and it'll pick you up from a further distance away.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is what I'm using. So it's an accessory GoPro mic to get your, what do you call this? I forget what they call this right here, MD Lee, but so this is what I'm using, but it's just a Rode little short mic, and you have to put the cat thing on there. If not, your audio gets real like poppy where you can't fix it.
Yeah, it's going to distort if you don't put the snow cone on there, like especially if you're outside or anything like that. Forget about it. If you don't have one of those snow cones on there, it's
yeah. Well, also, what I will tell you guys is I'm on my second GoPro.
Can you take that cover off easily?
Yeah.
To show us the actual mic. I want it, if it is what I think it is.
Yeah, hold on here. Let me.
Yeah, so see, that is what they call a shotgun microphone, and it's because you can aim it right where you're at, and it rejects all peripheral noise, and it only does that. The polar pattern of the mic is like the most directional polar pattern you can get on a microphone.
Yes, I will tell you that the GoPro microphones suck for audio. The audio is terrible.
They're not that same style though, right? They're not like a barrel of a gun.
No. They have 3 microphones all around, and it sounds like shit.
Yeah, you need a really, if you're not going to have a lapel mic or a lavalier or lav mic, it's all the same thing, then that's the way to go, is a shotgun microphone.
Yes, like when I looked into the GoPro, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on it, and everybody suggested this mic right here. You know, the only thing that sucks about the GoPro is you can't zoom in. So you have to move the camera if you want to get closer up. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I don't know about... I think those GoPros seem pretty versatile, and if you want to do a lot of different things, eventually they'll allow you to do that. But I like DSLRs or mirrorless, just for the video quality.
Yeah, I had a DSLR that I actually sold to Jay Young. I never used it because I didn't have a problem with the microphone, but the problem was you could only film at 20 minutes at a pop. But that was before I really understood how to edit. So I've been looking into like a 4K, about a $700 camera that I can attach this Rogue mic to, and I can start doing different type of shots.
Chuck's about ready to have an aneurysm. He wants to know what model of GoPro that is.
It's a Hero 5.
Hero 5. Okay, that's what he's on.
I will tell you that you have to get this stupid adapter. Okay, and like I said, I'm on my second one because over here where it clicks in at HDMI, it uses whatever this is. It's a C port or whatever. If you plug this in and leave it in there, it wears out, and then where the audio clicks in, you'll get video but no audio. So the audio quality gets really shitty. So I always unplug this.
Hard Knocks wants to know if you can plug that mic into your laptop.
Yeah, I can do it right now. Hold on here. Let's see. I'm not on the laptop. I'm on the GoPro. Let's see if the audio gets better here. Yeah, I'll do whatever Hard Knocks wants to do. I'll do it. Don't worry about it. Hard Knocks, I am here for you, buddy.
Got to keep the home team happy.
All right. Is that better?
Yeah. Just put it about 2 feet away from it and aim it right at your voice stream.
Well, here's the problem. I can't hear anybody else.
Give us about 30 seconds of you talking with it, and then unplug it, and we'll move on.
You want me to plug it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
For about 30 seconds, and we'll just listen to you. Recite some poetry if you can.
How's that? Big difference? So, do you want me to leave it plugged in?
Well, can you hear me?
No. Once I plug it in, I can't hear you because I'm on my iPad.
Can you read lips?
No.
You can't read lips?
No.
Oh, you don't have it plugged in right now?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay. I thought we were doing a bit right there where you were telling me you couldn't read lips, but in actuality you were reading lips responding. Okay, all right. Well,
no, sorry. Let me talk closer to this thing. I used this at my house the other day, the last live stream we did, and nobody bitched about the audio.
It's not a issue for me, but I got earbuds in.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Hard Knocks needs to get out of the garage or wherever the hell he's at. But I need to be able to hear you, or this is not going to work.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know?
Yeah, I get it. What other questions do we have? Hey, anybody who can roll in links periodically, links to Jay Young's new channel. I know he's like close to 200 subs. Actually, I haven't checked today. He's probably over that by now. But links to his channel to sub to it, and also links to Chuck's Trim Life channel. Go do that. Gary D, do you want me to talk about what you sent me an email about now, or do you want me to? Maybe that would be a better one to wait for another live stream.
What's going on? Does he have a question for me or something?
Well, it could be a question for you. You want to know about it? What do you know about reptilians? Let me just put it to you that way.
Reptilians, like a goddamn. I know nothing about reptilians.
Yeah, not reptiles, but reptilians. Are they among us? Do they exist? Is Obama a reptilian? See, they're what's up, G-Bone? They it's a whole big thing. It's like that's more for the conspiracy theory podcast. Gary, I think I'll push it to next time. I think I'll do that one, and that's the one where I'll do giveaways on these Craftsman USA made pick sets I have for giveaways at a later time. Thanks, Ken. Ken's rolling in the links.
Yeah,
guys, sub to both of those channels that Ken just posted. Jay Young's new channel and Chuck's Trim Life channel, where he's going to be doing his 25-hour a day live streams. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, like I was.
What's up, Cello?
I talked to Jay Young. I thought that Chuck quit because I was like, man, dude. I was like, man, my last 3 weeks have been good. I haven't got, you know, every time I go on YouTube, I see a 9-hour Auto Pros interior with. I click on it and there's like 4 people watching and they're just talking amongst themselves and there's no Chuck to be found anywhere.
Well, if you look closely at the camera, usually he's off over under one of those upholstery tables, curled up in the fetal position, yelling. And if you listen really closely, you can hear him whispering to himself, "I don't want to work. I don't want to work. I don't want to work." See, that's
okay.
That's the thing. I asked him, he didn't address this today when he streamed today, but I asked him if he went back to live streaming, if he's going back to live streaming because he found that he was getting too much work done every day now that he wasn't live streaming 18 hours a day.
Yeah, I saw that where you put that comment. I knew what you were getting at. You know, because I asked him how he wears an XL hat, but only 24-inch inseam pants. That seems a little weird, but nobody else in the live stream got that.
No, I read that, but it was the same reaction. I just couldn't type right then. He countered with the fact that he has a 30-inch inseam, and I thought, I'm close to a foot taller than Chuck, and I only have like a 31.5 or 32-inch inseam, so I can't do a whole lot of talking on that for short legs.
Yeah, no, I was just like, man, that's a weird thing there, Chuck. You know, like. You may buy 30s, but 2 inches are dragging the ground. I mean, that's just you know. Let's be honest here. You know. So, I just like to give Chuck a hard time, but Chuck's got a great idea. I've told him how to make his channel great. Like, you know, he could do the. Everybody wants to know how to fix interiors on cars, so they don't have to take it someplace. He just needs to shoot 15 to 20-minute videos, instructional videos on how to replace car interiors, and his channel would go nuts if he knew if he edited right.
What was that guy that Bruce was talking about in one of his recent videos? Like Auto Mechanic School or some channel like that. I forgot the name of it, but I am subscribed to the guy. The guy doesn't do a lot of videos, but if Chuck could do that same thing for upholstery, like you're saying, basic instructional stuff, his stuff would get more popular, but he'd also work his way out of the job. But if he's going to do this with this Trim Life where he's streaming 8 hours a day and he follows through on having like 5 or 6 GoPros throughout his shop, we're about to have the real world South Carolina upholstery edition.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're ready for that, but I think that like everybody would like to know how to take, you know, the headliner out of their car that fell down and put it back up properly, and you know, just custom, you know, like how to take the door panel off of a Chevy truck or whatever Toyota, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to know how to do that without fucking up all the, you know, all the shit. That's where I think Chuck's channel, he needs to go. He would do a lot better than doing 9-hour live streams because nobody's going to watch that. The insiders will, but I don't think anybody else will. You know, you're not going to grow your channel doing that.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of sometimes I watch Chuck stuff and I think, could he have like the Real Housewives of whatever county he's in? I just don't know how close with that much live streaming. At some point, it really does become a reality show. And if he went that route, eventually people would get so bored. He'd have to have some scripted stuff, because all those reality shows, they're all scripted anyway. They all have writers, and I think.
Yeah,
But I guess what I'm getting around to is I think I could be one of Chuck's writers. I think I already have some pretty good ideas. And next time he goes live, I think I'm probably going to end up pitching him some of my ideas. I'm going to get some storyboards together, and we're going to do this up. I feel like I could get him to however many subs he's at right now. I'll put it to you this way: if he's on his main channel, if he's at like 700 subs, I feel like with my ideas I could get him to at least 715.
Okay, so that's a very positive thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, you might think I would be doing that out of the goodness of my heart, but really I'm looking to build a resume. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, like, yeah, you're trying to be a head writer for a YouTube channel.
Right.
You get your name in the credits, because you can actually add people to the name of the video credits on YouTube.
I saw that recently, and I thought, wow, now that I know that, my stuff could. That's actually something so stupid. It's stupid enough to where it would motivate me to do it just out of having an odd sense of humor. I'd like to roll credits at the end of every one of my things.
Yeah,
I'd like to have thank yous too.
Yeah, like big shout out to this guy.
Right.
No, like shoot. I mean, I just moved into second place of the original Big Six. I passed Bruce or whatever the other day, which he did text me and thank me for that. I was like, man, I'm doing pretty good here. If I pass Bruce, because I remember when I first started, he had like 4,000 subs, and it's like that's such a long way away.
Yeah. What are you at? You're over 7,000 now?
Yeah, I'm almost 7,500. I'm 74, like 10 probably.
One thing Bruce used to kind of wonder about this, and I told him, YouTube, their algorithm rewards consistently. If you find that you can only put up one video a week, at least do that one video. If you find that you could do 3 or 4 videos a week, then consistently do that many videos. But when you stop, that's when things kind of drag to a halt, I feel like, as far as channel growth.
Yeah, if you were like doing really hot, like consistent 2 or 3 a week, then you slow way down, it fucks up your consistency. I will tell you that I like doing the live streams and moving them to unlisted after they're over. I like that on my channel for some reason.
Yeah, like I told you, I haven't seen anybody yet. The live streams need to be more of a reward. If you're actually in the business of building your channel, so to speak, and you're trying to make money doing that, I don't think you're going to attract a lot of new viewers with live stream. It's the videos that people are interested in. The
Yes.
live stream's more of like a reward event for people.
Yeah, because they get to know you.
Right, and to keep them exclusive, I think it is better to unlist them afterward.
Yeah, well, because I mean, like, I don't know if you know that Nestor put videos up last night again.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and it's about he finished the book.
Well, good.
So he finished one project.
See, here's where
One.
here's where you and I differ. I'm convinced that you guys would never get along. I like Nestor, and I like a lot of his stuff, and a lot of what he does come across as being really pretentious, but he has his good side too. And I don't know, I liked his channel. I've interacted with him a little bit. We can't all be friends, like Chael says. In the end, there could be only one, and we cannot all be friends. But I like to like everybody.
Yeah, see, like I don't, I don't like everybody. I'm not a like. What's so weird about this?
You're
It's
just
like,
you're just not an amiable person.
no, like, well, here's something that's weird. Like people that know me like they say I have the weirdest personality because I have some extroverted takes and then I have some inverted, like whatever they call that, like inverted where I
Attribute, introvert, extrovert attributes.
yes, well, I'm kind of like where I don't like this is weird to have 7,000 people follow me because I never thought it would get that much, but it's like I'm not a socializable person. Like I don't want to go out and like hang out and do other things. So like when I do live streams and I have 100 people listen to me talk, I think it's so like weird to me because it's like, man, I would if these 100 people were standing in front of me, I just would want to go home. Like I want to go sit on my chair. Like I don't want to bother, because I just can't deal with it.
Yeah, Emery says that he doesn't like trashing people. I get it, Emery.
I'm not really trashing people. I'm pointing out the obvious. There's a difference. Okay, trashing somebody would be like.
I just want to see you guys have your debate round two. I wish there was a way to get past it, but I guess I'm just realistic on that. I think that's one of those oil and water situations where you guys just aren't going to mix.
No, we could never associate, because it would definitely turn into a fight. See, the last one I was kind of caught off guard, and I was like, well, I don't want to, I didn't really do the research. Like I wanted to kind of look up some stuff, but what I know now, if we had another debate station, it probably wouldn't be. It would be less debating and me asking him hardcore questions about his life. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I see. Prove to me that I'm wrong. That would be where I would go.
Yeah, Frank just said that he likes everybody but Timmy, and yes,
I don't like Timmy either.
Yeah,
I think him and his whale belly wife need to go because she's the one that says you shouldn't cuss and all this shit, and they got this weird obsession. Like they gave a 5,000 subscriber giveaway, and they don't have 5,000 subs. That's what I was just like. And you gave people teddy bears, and it was like the 5 people that comment got one. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck? Like. Are you having the 700 sub giveaway? That's really about what it was.
Well, look, I could have a 5,000 sub giveaway too. I mean, let's not have the fact that I don't actually have that many subs keep me from doing that.
I mean, I think that there is other channels that have bought subs before.
Well, you want to go on the record? I mean,
Nestor bought subs too. I still believe that he bought subs.
I've asked you about this because I hear this thrown out, not just by you. I hear it thrown out by different people. My question about that is that speculation or is that fact? Is that opinion or is that fact? How is it you know that?
Well, because when he had like shit, what was it? He had about 15,000 subs, and he would release a video on like three different like topics a week. In none of them, I had 3,000 subs, and I was getting as many views as him. So it goes back to, again, views per video. And like I told you before, in the first 24 hours, you should at least have 10 to 15% of your viewer number in that first 24 hours. And if you don't, that tells me that you don't have as many subs as you got. Period.
Well, when I see a channel when I see a channel grow very quickly off the beginning, I don't always jump to, oh, they're buying subs. What I jump to is they've got a lot of casual subs. They got a lot of people. Maybe they watch one of their videos and they like their style. They're really good at doing videos. And so people watch that and they subscribe, but they're going to get a lot of people that are only going to watch one out of every 20 of their videos. And usually that's because they're good at editing, they're good at YouTube, but they're not particularly good at the subject matter in question.
Yeah, well, and clickbaiting. I've never clickbaited. I'm not big into that. Like when people clickbait, you come on there and it's like, dude, what the fuck? I'm done. I won't watch your channel ever again. I may come back on just to see if you got, if you figured it out, but I'm not a clickbaiter, man. That's not being open and honest with your viewers, really, That'd be like if you bought the Floyd Mayweather-McGregor fight, you know what I'm saying, and they showed you the Belladonna fight instead. Now, you would be like, what the fuck? Or the Birdo fight, right? Like, oh, the live feed went down. We're going to show you the old fight, right? That's what clickbaiting is.
Well, Mike's Toolshed said that the other night. He put that in the title of his video, but he put that in the title of his live stream, but he put it as not the Mayweather-McGregor fight.
Yeah.
Still, he had something like 6,000 or 7,000 clicks on his video, but his average view time was like 26 seconds, and everybody was coming in there giving him thumbs down because, oh, you clickbaited me.
Yeah.
Well, I heard estimates as high as like 100 million people watched that fight streaming. They watched it on YouTube. They watched it on Periscope. It's like nobody could do the honest thing anymore that I do and watch it on firstrowsports.eu. I mean, come on. If you're going to illegally stream it, at least do it the old-fashioned way. See it. People they have no dignity anymore. Wow, how could they stoop so low?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, I didn't
watch
buy
it on
it.
Periscope.
I watched it on the YouTube feed. I would wait. Usually the person would get one round out, and then you'd have to switch channels. But there was a lot of people that had it on there, and they were. I think after round 6, YouTube and Facebook both gave up. They just said there's way too many. We can't keep stopping these things, and they just gave up.
Yeah, well, I heard that somebody said that Colton streamed the entire thing for him. I guess he's streamed it on his Facebook or something to the BWM group. I'm not totally familiar, but they said, yeah, Colton showed us the whole fight. I think they said he bought the pay-per-view and then showed everybody else.
Yeah, well, shit.
See ya, Bill.
Oh, see you later, Bill. What happened to Bill? What did he do?
Oh, he just said he's got to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not even paying attention to this. No, I'm just saying, like, that's how I watched it. And you could see, like, the first couple rounds, man, they were hammering everybody's channels. And then after a little bit, they just gave up. Like the 6th and 7th round, I watched from the 6th round to the finish of the fight on one guy's stream. It was weird because it was a black dude, and I could hear him talking with his, they were Mayweather fans, so anytime that Mayweather did anything great, they would just start yelling and screaming and be like, I told you so. Shit. But, I mean, I did see the fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if it was me, I would probably want to counteract that with like a bar in Boston or something with a bunch of white people yelling every time Connor did something good. Be equal opportunity in your bias. They I don't want to recover that, but the Nevada Athletic Commission, I mean, come on. Two of the 3 judges only gave him the first round. That was it.
Dude, it was...
The other judge gave him the first 3 rounds, and that was it. I had him winning the first 4. A lot of people had him winning the first 5. I thought round 4 was kind of questionable. But anyway.
I think he won the first 4, and then he won the 8th.
Yeah, he said that he said that he won the 8th too. I kind of conglomerated that with everything else when I was scoring it live. I gave him 1 through 4. I gave Floyd 5 through 9, and then the TKO came in the 10th. I mean, I thought the only super decisive round was the 9th round, and then obviously the 10th round, the TKO came. But people were saying that about Floyd. Oh, Floyd, he was just letting him hit him. And I thought, well, I think Floyd may have been letting him throw punches, but Floyd's known as Adam and I talked about this. Floyd takes the first few rounds to kind of get everybody's timing and see what they're doing. So it shouldn't have been any big surprise that McGregor won. I think even if you're not being charitable at all, you should give him at least the first 3 rounds and probably the first 4. But they're going, well, Floyd let him hit it. Well, Floyd,
I don't think he'd let him hit anything.
Yeah, I don't think Floyd would let anybody hit him. Okay, I mean Floyd. That guy didn't get to 50-0 by being stupid. McGregor caught him. He caught him with some good shots. And Floyd was being selective, and he was landing some body punches. In the first 5 rounds, he probably had 8 or 9 good quality body shots, but he lost the majority of those rounds. But I saw those scorecards after the fact and saw that the 2 judges only gave McGregor the first round. I thought, man, that's about as corrupt as you can get.
I think that what that fight basically told me is how corrupt the boxing world is compared to the MMA world.
Yeah.
And that's why there is boxing gets a good gets more pay-per-view than the UFC. But I think the big winner of that whole fight was the UFC. It only legitimized their sport a little bit better compared to boxing is what it did, in my opinion. Because people that or watch the fight would be like, dude, how did Mayweather win the 4th round when he threw 7 punches to McGregor's whatever he had in the 4th round? It was a lot, and it's like, well, in a fight, the guy that throws the most usually wins. In a real fight.
Well, the numbers don't lie. I think Canelo hit Floyd 122 times. Conor hit him 111. Pacquiao hit him 81. So Pacquiao hit him 81 times in 12 rounds. McGregor hit him 111, 30 more times in a round and a half less. So he was on track. If he'd been able to finish, he probably would have exceeded Canelo's punch.
Yes, Canelo went 12 rounds, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was 2.5 rounds left. Sorry.
But I think that the big winner was UFC. They showed that their fighting is not corrupt like the boxing world is. The boxing world, everybody said since, like Don King was in it, that was the biggest corrupt dude ever. Like he could promote a fight, but there's a lot of corrupt stuff. That's why I don't like boxing. I think that, like how Mayweather kept giving him his back and making him hold him and all that shit. That is boring as hell to me. I think you should, if you intentionally go into another fighter and try to make them, you're just fucking bear hugging them. That's completely, I think you should have points taken away. That's not a fighting style.
The biggest thing that's hurt boxing in the last 15 years is the dominance of the Klitschko brothers. I maintain that because in boxing, as goes the heavyweight division, so goes the rest of the sport, at least in North America. And the Klitschko brothers' dominance, the fact that they're Eastern European, and the fact that they are extremely boring and all they ever do is hug the whole fight, means that boxing has tanked. And yeah, Mayweather's made more money during that time than anyone else in the sport, but mostly as a 147 pounder. So that should tell you something. At least as far as U.S. standards, it's not those lighter weight classes that carry the sport like that. Boxing have been way better off, and I think with Mayweather getting out, everybody wonders, well, what's going to happen? Well, I'm telling you, you watch Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, if he ever gets there. You watch Tyson Fury, depending if he can stay off the nose candy. These different ones. There are plenty of exciting fighters out there, and I thought that boxing. I thought this was a net gain for boxing as well. The only loser was the Nevada Athletic Commission because their judges are so corrupt for boxing. But yeah, thumbs up to the UFC, thumbs up to McGregor, thumbs up to Floyd, thumbs up to boxing. I thought everybody won. I thought the only loser was the Nevada Athletic Commission.
Well, yeah, I mean, I as much as you wanted to say, like about McGregor and all this stuff, the man, like I asked in my live stream the other week, could Mayweather go 5 rounds with McGregor in an MMA fight?
Oh, no way.
Could he get out of the first round? The answer would be no.
No. It's that whole question of what would happen in a real fight, and McGregor did a really good job of really dialing in the language. He said that I chose to take on what a lot of people think is the greatest ever at this very narrow discipline of combat, this very narrow rule set. Everyone knows in a real fight how this would go, unless we're talking about, bodyguards and guns getting involved. But in just a fight, we all know how that one would go.
Yes, I know that, anybody, could probably – CM Punk in the UFC could probably beat up Mayweather in 3 rounds.
Well, let's –
Ronda Rousey could beat him up. She would judo throw him right on the ground, and it would be over.
I don't know about that. Cyborg would go in there and probably rip his entire head off his body.
Yes, and then eat his brains as the end of the, as the capper. But, I mean, for a guy to do – that would be like me, like I said, that would be like me trying to go help Keith fix cars. I know nothing about it, and it would be like, that type of discipline, right? It would be – it's the same but different. Right? I mean, I don't know if Keith's in here. I wouldn't know. The first thing, he'd be like, yeah, we're out here. I'd be like, well, this thing's fucked. I say we just take it to the junkyard. You know what I'm saying?
You'd be the best new car salesman on Staten Island anytime anybody comes up with that stuff. Right, time for a new car.
Yeah, crush that piece of shit. Let's get another one.
Well, tell you what, lady, that thing's going to cost you more money than it's worth.
Yeah, it's but I'm just saying that's kind of like if people think about it, breaking it down, that the man, win or lose, he did stand there, and that's more than I could do.
Yeah, I did, and there's Chris Eubanks did a deal on MMA fighting on the YouTube channel's MMA fighting on SBN, but if you just type into the search bar MMA fighting, Chris Eubanks did a deal with Ariel Helwani where he recited the poem Invictus, and they cut it out of they rolled it out into a separate video. They have the full interview, but then they have the clip of him just reciting the poem, and they put together like a collage of fight pictures and so on with McGregor. This was before the fight, leading into the fight. Chris Eubanks' point was, hey, I celebrate this guy. He's getting in there. He's never had a professional boxing match. He's getting in there with quite possibly the greatest of all time. That's something to be celebrated. That's a courageous thing to do. And I just feel like so many people miss the context of this. This wasn't that this guy will never land a punch or he's got no shot. Everybody's got that puncher's chance. Really deep down, we all know that. But the fact that this guy extended himself that much, there, like you're saying, there is something particularly admirable about that in a sporting sense.
Yeah, and I would compare it, to like me going to help Keith fix a Volkswagen, where I know nothing about that, and he's already pissed off too, because he's working on a Volkswagen.
If
But
you,
it's the same thing,
I wish that you would go to the Frank Imtech meetup and stay for like an extra day or two, and then go fix a Volkswagen with Keith, and then I could do a clip video about it of me reciting the poem Invictus with music with you and Keith beating the Volkswagen down with sledgehammers.
Yeah,
It'd be like that scene from Office Space with the printer where they were playing gangster rap.
This is what I'd show up with, Keith. I'd be like, I see that you got a car full of shit. I got this, and let's fix this Volkswagen here. Ask them if they need this thing fixed, because I got it.
See you, Beer Stud. Sorry, I didn't even see Beer Stud was in here. Sorry, Beer Stud.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, that's probably enough on the fight, but I think, it's two different worlds, very similar, but that's what when Tony Technician said he was going to go drag racing, I laughed at that because I was like, man, I don't know your skill level, and I don't know if this is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could still do it, but it would take me a weekend to get back to the pace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying, but back in the day when I worked in construction, when we would occasionally frame houses, and that was like, that took some time to adjust to it. I would be about done with the job by the time I was used to the physical rigors of it. My dad used to always say, well, up until probably 10 years ago, he would always say, well, I'm never more than about 3 weeks away from being in shape again to do that kind of work. But your body has to adapt to certain things when you do a physical job like that. You can't just jump back into it and go at the same pace that you were at.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it would take, I know it would take me a weekend. We'd have to go testing before, just so I'd remember where everything was. Like, it's not going to be that easy. I think anything's like that. You're probably right. Framing a house. I mean, yeah, you could probably do it again, but it would take you, the first month would be a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, the things that really are terrible like that in construction, framing is not even that bad. But if you're doing floor laying or roofing or anything where you have to be crawling around, concrete flat work is that way. There are certain physical rigors of that job that a lot of people, there's a reason that there are jobs in construction that most people really shy away from. They're just more physically demanding.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, after I did that brake job on the Turdling, the next day I was gassed. I was like, wow.
How'd you sleep after that?
Oh, my whole body hurt, and my arms hurt the next day. And luckily, it rained that day, so we got canceled. And I was like, thank fucking God, because I know that going to drive this truck, I mean, my arms hurt to lift them up. I'm like, I am a fat piece of shit, and there was no way that I was going to do the next one the next day. I was just like, nah, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
It took a lot out of me.
Yeah. What's the humidity like back there too?
Oh, well, that night it was high because it rained earlier that day, and then it rained, like halfway through the night. So the humidity was probably, 70, 80%, and you're just sweating and you can't get, I mean, God, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chill is ranking. He says, looks like you retired from construction work a long time ago, MD Lee. Yeah, I did. The funny thing is, I think about it, I didn't weigh, like the last time I framed a house, I probably only weighed about 15 pounds less than I weigh now, but that's the thing about getting old. I was 15 pounds less, but my muscle mass was,
More.
yeah, a lot higher. That's the one thing I've noticed about getting past 30. I won't give out my stats here, but uh, there's no good way to weigh what I weigh. But I used to have a lot more muscle. Now that I'm a driver, it's hard to do that. What's up, Juan?
What's going on, Juan? No, I will say that after I turned 35, I would say that my energy level has gone down a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what it was. You know, after about 35, I got to be like, man, just doing simple tasks. I'm like, man, I'm fucking like, this is not fun here. I couldn't imagine, like when you see a 50-year-old dude out there working construction, I'm like, man, how is he doing it?
Oh, we have this guy. I don't know if Marcus is still in here or not, but we had this guy that my dad worked with before my dad had his own company. He worked for this guy for a couple of years, and this guy, up until recently, he's mid 60s now, but okay. So sidebar, there's a guy who's made some videos. He's passed away now, but he wrote a bunch of construction books over the last 40 years. His name is Larry Hahn. The last name is spelled Haun. If you look up Larry Hahn on YouTube, I have a couple of this guy's books, and he was one of the pioneers of West Coast or California framing.
Yes.
California tilt-up wood framing. And this guy was like a guru of West Coast style production framing. So I say that to say this. He was like a slender guy, and he worked up until he had cancer and was like past 70 years old. Classic construction dude. Well, this guy that we used to work with, my dad used to work for, and then after that he would help us out sometimes. He was that same kind of build where he was like a thin dude, but extremely strong, great tendonal strength where you couldn't tell by looking at him.
Yes.
But also the guy would move like a cat. My dad talked about working on a job with him where he was actually painting something. He was painting a soffit, and he was basically 2.5 stories up on scaffolding, and he had an airless sprayer, and he was walking back and forth on this scaffolding, spraying the entire length, and there were windows about every 5 feet. So my dad was on the inside doing some framing stuff, and he was looking out of the corner of my eye, and he sees this guy coming across here, and then he would disappear, and then he would see him when he came to another window, and then he said he saw him come to a window, and he was looking up, concentrating on what he was doing, spraying, and all of a sudden he just disappeared. Well, he'd been concentrating so much on what he was doing, he walked off the end of the scaffolding from 2.5 stories up. Well, what this guy was known for. My dad did a double take and kind of started walking over there like, did I just see that? And he got closer. He saw just 2 sets of fingers on the ledge of that window. The guy had caught himself. He dropped the airless sprayer, the attachment, but he had caught it with his feet, caught himself on the ledge, pulled himself up, kind of dusted himself off, and went right back to spraying. So this guy was like, he was like a cat. And there were other stories that I'm pretty good friends with a couple of this guy's sons, and they told me stories all the time where he was like notorious for doing that. And he would always catch, if he had a nail gun with him or a saw or whatever he happened to be using, he would always catch it with his feet. He never once actually fell all the way to the ground.
Wow, that's lucky.
Yeah.
No, I'm just, like, it's kind of like, I just know that, I'm getting older, and I'm not as, I'm definitely not, adrenaline will get me by, but the next day you used up all that energy. That's all that I was saying.
Yeah. Well, let me go let me address something here real quick. I used to know a guy that could knock you out at 76 years old. If he knocks me out at 76 years old, I'm going to have him charged with elder abuse, because by the time I get to 76 G-Bone, I won't want anybody knocking me out. But also, Nestor, let's go back to Nestor. Nestor's, I don't think, 30 years old yet.
No, he's not.
One of the things I appreciate about that guy is he's trying to go different directions, and if he's not yet 30, he's got to be looking at the physical nature of what he's doing and thinking there's got to be a less taxing way to do this. I know people that were and are and probably will continue to be in really good shape physically because of the jobs that they do, but I'm convinced most people don't want to do that anymore. Most people want to have a white-collar job and go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week.
Well, yeah, well, he might have to go to the gym because he has to take a shower. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man.
You know, I'll just throw that little hint out there. But, you know.
This is you talking, not me.
Oh, well, I know that, you know, a lot of people disagree with what I say, but, you know, like I told you on the phone, I think I'm 80% right. You know, most of the time I know I can kind of put things together, and I understand that he's trying to, you know, he wants to be physically fit and all that stuff, but he's going to be physically fit till he finds a wife. And then, you know, the rest of the part of life is going to take over. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get kids, you're not going to the gym for an hour a day. You know what I'm saying? You just don't physically have the time or the energy.
Well,
you know,
some people do still go to the gym an hour a day after they have a wife and kids, but those people tend not to be married for as long.
Yeah, and then you lose half your shit, which I'm not trying to lose half my shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just saying that, you know, going to the gym because you want to or going to the gym because you have to is two totally different things. Right?
Yeah, I do. My dad was always my dad was always a proponent of staying in shape because of the work he did. But I remember when he got to be in his mid-30s and closing in on 40, where he wasn't working blue collar as much. He was so busy with home building that he had to subcontract. It just wasn't physically possible to do all the carpenter work himself on all the houses he was building at the time. So he started having to his weight went up higher than it had ever been, and he started working out at home. I don't think my dad is of a personality where he would ever have even considered going to a gym and working out around that many other people. But he, like I say, he was always somebody who kept in really good shape based on the work he was doing.
Yeah, like when I was racing, I was probably 15 pounds lighter than I was, you know, and I could go, you know, physically a long period of time. But once I stopped doing that, you know, it takes a little bit to get back into what I call fighting shape or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Get down to your fighting weight.
Yeah, get down to your fighting weight. Now, here's a question that they ask in there. Are you going to buy Nestor's How to Flip Cars on Craigslist book?
Me?
Yeah, you personally.
How much is it?
It's $20, and it's a B book. So I guess that means electronic. I don't know.
An e-book?
Yeah, I think so. You download it.
I might.
Okay.
Why were you? I know what your answer is going to be. I'll tell you this: I've got another book I need to buy before Nestor's book, but I might eventually buy that one. I got to buy Scanner Danner. I keep forgetting that. I got to buy Scanner Danner's book.
Yeah, the answer to me is no. I would rather burn $20 on a live stream than buy that book.
Oh man.
Or slam my dick in a sliding glass door for about 15 minutes. You know, because it has nothing to do with what.
I would be interesting. I would be interested in knowing, and I would buy the book because of this. I would be interested in knowing if there's anything in there that I could just figure out myself, thinking about it for 15 or 20 minutes, because it doesn't seem that complex. But if I've bought and sold a lot of cars on Craigslist, that's the thing, but I haven't necessarily flipped cars. But like Dow's talked about this. He talked about this with that motorcycle and with the Jeep he's got now that he's working on flipping stuff. If I'm going to flip something, I want to make pretty good money on it. So if you've got, and I'm not picking on anyone here, I'm just saying, if you sell something for $5,000 and you've got $4,700 in it, does that really count as flipping something?
Yeah, no. See, that I'm with you on that. If I'm going to put my time and energy into something, you know, I want to buy something for $500 and sell it for $9,500.
Yeah, and I did see this a little bit in construction. We, you know what, we never actually flipped any houses ourselves, but when I got my license later on, my CCB license in Oregon, I did work for a company for a brief period of time that was what they did, was flip houses.
Yes.
And the margins in that, you want to make, really, you want to make it, yeah, at least 20%. That's just kind of a baseline. If you're going to want to make, obviously you're going to want to make as much as you can, but you probably wouldn't even take on a project unless you knew you were going to make at least 20%.
Yeah, well, like, I guess Jesse from South Georgia Tools is on here, and you know, here's what I feel about flipping cars on Craigslist. There's already enough people out there that thinks all mechanics are scam artists and they're just trying to scam you out of your money. And to me, flipping a car on Craigslist is really it's kind of scammy-ish, and I would consider that not that I'm above that. It's just a scanny, or a kind of a, not a very reputable thing to do to somebody, because as a business owner, I would never sell anything to somebody else that I would not want to buy myself. And you're scamming, you're taking advantage of the lower class, uneducated people at some point when you start flipping cars on Craigslist or doing things like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I kind of harken back. I'll tie this in. You asked me if I would buy Nestor's book, and I said I might. To put it in context, I once spent about $280 on a course with CDs and books from a guy named Carlton Sheets. This was in the 90s. And his was specifically about real estate. His course, it was flipping houses. And that was something I already knew something about, but I was interested in more information. And he used to run infomercials all the time, and later on people accused him of scamming, and maybe he got caught up for that or whatever. But I bought that course as more or less continuing education, and I thought, hey, it was worth it. I went through it. I don't think I went through everything, but the subjects that I was interested in, that's what I spent time doing. And I thought, for me, that was worth it. I'm not to talk too much about myself or give you too many clues to who I am, but I'm autodidactic. So something like that would really pay dividends for somebody like me. So maybe Nestor's thing could pay off. Scanner Danner's thing would definitely pay off. That's $100. That would be money well spent, and I will be getting that book. But one of the things Carlton Sheets said about real estate was, if you're going in to buy a house to make money on it, if the seller isn't insulted by your first offer, you've offered them too much money. So,
Oh, okay.
so the point is, look, you're not in this as charity. If you wanted to give your money away to charity, you could do that no matter what. But what's the point in going in on something like that if you're not even going to make wages on it? You don't want to just make a wage for like how many hours you have in on it. And that's a flip with the car, with the house, with whatever. You need to be making money on that.
Yeah, I get that, and I think me and Jesse from South Georgia Tools are under the same thing. We're both business owners, and Ken the Lawn Guy said this before. You know, I don't understand how he still is in business, and if this $20 book, I think he's hoping to sell it to a whole bunch of younger Mexican kids, if I could say that. And that's his, it's almost part of that scamming Victor Pride, Mike Serenovich type of book. I don't think it's going to be very educational, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you might need to buy it to find out for sure, but maybe I'll spare you the trouble and I'll go spend the $20 on it. But like I said, I'll be buying Scanner Danner's book first.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling that but if you watch Scanner Danner's YouTube channel, you can tell that Scanner Danner's not out there trying to bullshit nobody. So his book at $100, I would automatically feel that would be a better buy long term. I think you'd get more out of it.
Yeah, and actually, that's for the hard copy. I should delineate here. The hard copy is $100. I think the ebook is $50, something to that effect. Somebody correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Gary D says buy it and return it.
Yeah.
I think he's saying that with Nesters, but I don't know that you can return an ebook.
No, he would not take a return on that. I don't think he has a full Amazon, thing, because what he's probably doing is he changed, his website again. He's probably using the same one, and he just keeps refurbishing it. Like 1 month it's going to be autosupply.com, and then the next month it'll be how to flip cars on Craigslist and all that stuff. Was
that actually him in your stream the other night that you blocked? Do you know that was him, or was that some rando
No, that
account?
was somebody else. It was a troll.
Okay, all right. Somebody asked earlier why he has why Nestor has his comment section disabled on his videos. That's probably why. The answer right there. It's probably just
trolls.
Yeah, probably just all the trolling stuff.
Well, he did that. I think Nestor can handle the trolls. The reason he put no comments on there is because there's other people besides trolls that have figured him out, and he doesn't want to hear it.
You want to give any more details on that?
There's been a lot of people that I think have figured him out. They're, they're not watching his channel anymore, but for the 10 super fans that he has, there's probably 90 people watch his channel just to see if there's going to be a train wreck happening, and
yeah,
I think they're what?
You were in rare form tonight.
I'm just talking. I'm just saying, like I have a lot of opinions on this because, and I've told you this before. When you become a business owner, you have to, if you're going to take on, like one thing that when he said that you should never buy houses, that's a poor investment, is completely dumbfounding to me.
Yeah, you told me that. You told me that in one of our recent conversations, and I didn't remember that, and I'm not sure exactly what. Having not remembered it, I suspect I just didn't see it when he said it, but my initial reaction was, wow, I'm going to need some context on that one because I can't think of an instance where that really makes sense, that kind of advice.
Yeah, and then also somebody asked him if he would ever take somebody under his wing and pass on his skills, kind of be like a little bit of you're a philanthropist or whatever you want to fucking call that, you know, like where you kind of take somebody under your wing and help them teach, kind of what you did to be successful. And he said, no, he would never do that. And that I kind of thought, man, you know, I am doing that with a guy that bought his own truck that could not afford to get his truck running. We struck a deal, and I said, you know, because he came to me, he wanted me to buy it. And I said, I don't really want to buy your truck because I can't find drivers, but I will pay to get your truck running, and you will work under me and do everything that I tell you to do. If you deviate from this plan, it's over. And we've been doing that about 3 weeks, and he has not once deviated from the plan yet. So I consider myself, you know, I'm helping somebody out, but I'm, you know, also passing on my skill set to somebody else. And that's important in, you know, when you become successful, you should always, you know, help other people out, not, you know, not
if your point is that it's a little bit hypocritical of him to act like everyone's mentor, but not actually sign on for taking a direct mentorship role.
Yes.
Where he would actually have to invest time one-on-one with somebody. I can see where you're coming from. There's questions here about why all the hate.
Why all the hate?
Yeah.
I don't consider it hate. I consider it a constructive criticism that, listen, dude, you know, like you're bullshitting a lot of people into where they're jeopardizing if you're telling them all to go flip cars on Craigslist and open up businesses, not everybody is ready for that. And when you're saying it's so easy and all this stuff you're setting people up to fail where it could potentially hurt them in their life long term if they open businesses and fail. All right. And when you're going out there and saying, oh, everybody should be about business and all this stuff, that's what irks me, is that, you know, his is going to go out of business and he doesn't even realize it because the money doesn't add up. You can't have a one-man shop out there, period. You can't make enough. And when you're saying that you can, it's bullshit. Bullshit. And you're bullshitting 25,000 people. And if 3 of them start businesses and they fail, well, businesses already, half of them fail to start off anyway. You're just correlating the problem for real business owners because now every bank thinks we're going to fail. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. From the outside looking in, they're asking about hate. Just to be clear, this isn't the first time that you and I have kind of had this conversation, and we've steadily expounded on it. Your views on Nestor are not my views on Nestor, and vice versa, obviously. I see some stuff that doesn't quite add up to me, but at the same time, and because I see that, I probably have a little bit better understanding of why you're coming at it from the perspective you're coming at from. At the same time, with Nestor, one thing I've said consistently is I appreciate the hustle and I appreciate the entrepreneurial spirit because it's something I don't think you see that often in younger people. So when somebody has it, I kind of appreciate that. Having said that, and one of the things, I think we've talked about this before, but one of the things that we talked about before, specifically regarding you guys on the debate station and the disagreements you said, I didn't think that some of your disagreements, I didn't think the gap was actually that broad. I'm thinking about how best to phrase this without completely going over stuff that we've already gone over ad nauseum. But basically, when he starts talking about how to operate debt-free and don't spend too much money and don't get too deeply in, you kind of took the opposite side of that. But later on, when you talked to me about it, you talked about, well, no, actually what I'm doing is spending on infrastructure, and I have a plan, the first 5 years, this is what I want to be. And even from that time to this, we've seen on your channel the work that you've put in on your trucks, and you've made so much of that money back, again, offsetting the cost of your tools that you bought. That is one of the things, was kind of a sticking point with him, talking about expensive tools. Well, I think, and I don't know, you're going to have a better figure on that as far as dollar amount, but just like on the brakes, what did you have in parts? What would you have had to spend on labor just for that one thing?
Oh, what? So the parts were $1,250 at my cost. Okay. And I get a little bit of a parts break because I buy from one place. And I asked in one of my live streams, what does like a dealership pay? They pay 3.5 hours per axle to do S-cams and the full 9 yards and all that stuff and put brakes back on it. So that's 4 times 3.5. You're looking at, I estimated that the labor would just be $1,600 some odd dollars, maybe a little bit more, almost $2,000 probably. Plus, they're going to mark up the parts 25%. So, $1,250 at my cost. Now, mark up add another 25-30% onto that. One truck, that bill was $3,000, and we got 2 of them to do. That's $6,000. And it's going to be in the shop at least 2 days, because they're going to want it the day before. Then they're going to take it all apart, get the right parts, put it back together the next day. Well, if I'm making $1,200 a truck a day, that's another $2,400 that you're adding into that cost. So you're looking at almost $8,500 in 2 brake jobs.
So you're saying it was $8,500, so it's essentially double that. So it's about a $17,000 swing because you did it yourself.
Yes.
So you have to figure that in when we talk about the cost of the thing that you've spent on tools. You did that as a long-term play to build your infrastructure. But I think if you had phrased it that way, I don't know. I don't think the two of you guys probably would have agreed no matter what, quite honestly. But, well, okay, so what if, I think we could probably, the vast majority of us could probably agree that, yes, that's a smart move. That's a smart business play to build infrastructure. Now, we could argue till we're blue in the face about what brand of tools you bought and how much more you paid because you bought the good stuff, quote unquote. But
yes,
I think when you view it from that perspective, it's a lot easier for that to make sense to people who maybe initially disagreed with you.
Yeah, and I think that I still get that, that people come to my channel and be like, dude, you don't use your tools. And I'm like, dude, apparently you haven't looked around. You know what I'm talking about? You haven't really looked around at my channel. You're just seeing, me cleaning my tools. Well, how do you think they got dirty? It's not like I just went out there and rubbed some grease on them and put them back in the box. I use this stuff, and it's just, I think that people don't understand. And then when you look at him, he keeps trying to take infrastructure out of his business. So that tells me you don't want to be in business long term. I think that Jesse would probably say that he invests so much money per month in just infrastructure, of having the right tools and equipment to make you more money, not on the first job, but on the 15th job, let's say.
Right. And anybody who's not subscribed to SGT Live South Georgia Tools, that's Jesse, he talks about that stuff several times a week in his live stream. And he's had examples of that recently. He's has a franchise. He's opening up another franchise, and he's already buying equipment for that other franchise and replacing equipment with better, more capable equipment. What was it? He had a lift a couple of weeks ago he bought, and he spelled out how much money he bought, but the reasons why he was doing it. And you can't look at people's budgetary decisions and make a knee-jerk reaction. You have to look long term, and you have to look at what that's going to earn. Like you just said, it's not what you earn on the first job. It's the 15th job. It will start paying off. With Nestor, one of the things I recognized, used to be a show on A&E. House flipping shows used to be like a really big thing 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
there were all these shows, Flip This House, and there was this one guy down in San Antonio. His name's Roberto Montalongo, I think was his name. So he was really big in flipping houses, or at least that's the way the show made him look. Well, it wasn't too long before that show got really popular. And what did he do? He basically transitioned from flipping houses into doing a refresh on Carleton Sheets' idea, training other people how to flip houses.
Yes.
And it dawned on me at the time, if he was really that successful doing it, obviously he sees that he thinks he can be way more successful. Well, it came out after the fact, when it all kind of shook out, that in actuality he wasn't nearly as successful doing the actual house flipping in real estate as he had wanted everybody to believe he was. And that was why he transitioned into telling other people how to do it, because he was just going to be able to make a lot more money doing that than he would be able to doing the actual work. And Nestor, I don't think I'm bursting anybody's bubble on this. He's talked about this himself, how he wants to be more of a business owner and not necessarily work in the shop. If you pay attention to the videos that he put out 5, 6, 7 months ago, that was the direction he was trying to head, was building that thing into a franchise where eventually he could just make more money on it doing the franchising aspect of it.
Yeah, but I don't think that, we talked about franchises before, and, his model is not set up for a franchise, okay? That's why I call it a Jiffy Lube Plus. If you're trying to become a Jiffy Lube Plus, well, then just go buy into a Jiffy Lube Plus and pay guys $10 an hour to change oil and do simple breaks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, theoretically, that's what he's doing. Right? I mean, we can all kind of see that observation. I get that he would want to try to, be more of a standoffish. You don't want, but if you take on a franchise, you're going to need employees. You can't do everything, you can't be a one-man band and be a franchise either.
Right. Yeah, just to recap. Also, I wasn't saying $17,000. I was saying basically that was the swing. I'm not saying he saved that much. He saved the actual amount that he spent on labor plus whatever downtime he saved himself on the truck itself.
Yeah, and I've talked about this in the trucking video, which you actually liked. Which I gotta do another one because there's been some questions. You know what I'm saying? There's been some questions. Other words, but I'm just saying, like, where was I going to go with this? Shit. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. Okay. So
that's what that Mountain Dew will do to you. That's why they call that the nectar of the tards.
Oh, okay. No, well, I just got thinking of something else. So also, when talking about the trucking business, I talked about that. Anytime that you have to call the dispatchers that you work for and tell them that your truck broke, you get moved off the list for that day. Okay? Now, when so if you get moved off the list for 1 or 2 days, they've got so many other people that are just wearing them out. It takes a little bit more time to get back on that list because most of them dispatch off of once you're kind of in the computer and they see that they have you on a job one day, it's easier to get out on the job the next day, if you get what I'm saying. Once you get knocked off the list, it's hard to fight to get back on that list. And I learned that very early on. That's why I started buying all these tools and stuff. I said, I have to be able to stay on the list, have my name there. And that is number one in the trucking business. You know,
Yeah, if you can't get scheduled, you can't make any money.
No, you know, like it's very difficult. So that's why that's the big beef that I have with Nestor, is that I don't think that everything that he says comes from his true feeling. I think he repeats a lot of what other people say, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can see some of that. I don't think I feel nearly as strongly that way as you do about it, or as a couple of other people do. Like I've said before, I think he gives out a lot of good information. You do have to get past a lot of unnecessary stuff. I think there would be a way for him to give out, if he could just give out just the good information all the time, it would be a lot more efficient. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that I want to talk about. I just forget to talk, like I forget when I'm doing the video. I'm like, oh, I could have talked about this. And I think about it when I'm editing, and I'm like, shit, I don't want to revisit this again,
Do you ever make an outline?
No, I can't do that. I can't structure anything that I do. I'm a shoot from the hip guy, and whatever comes out, comes out.
You just riff, and if you miss something after the fact,
that's just part of it.
Yeah.
That's the way that I look at it. I could never sit down and write a script. The first of all is that anybody that knows me for a long period of time knows that I am not the greatest speller or writer down. That's not my specialty. Okay. And that's why, like,
a stunning admission.
I'm admitting my faults, like I'm not that good at that type of stuff. That's why, like, I could never write a book or anything like that. I can't read a book and understand what it says, but if somebody read me the book, I could memorize it from start to finish and know exactly what they were talking about. I'm more of a visual learner. So that's why, like, I look at YouTube and I think, well, I'll just go through the process. If it takes 2 hours to show everybody the whole process, then that's what it takes,
Well, okay. So when you say that, what are you really saying here as far as reading and writing? And
I'm just saying that's a lot of times, like, I watch a lot of channels, but I will never comment because I can't take what I'm saying and put it in a nice, like, paragraph where other people would understand what I'm saying.
Oh,
if you get what I'm saying, like, that's not my thing.
That's not your forte. You're not a man of the written word.
No, and I'm not a man of the reading word either. I'm more of, if I watch a video on it, I can repeat that process. You know what I'm saying?
Do you read much at all for fun, or have you ever?
No, I don't find it entertaining because I'm not very good at it. And if somebody's not very good at it, you're not going to keep doing it.
Well, I'm not trying to get too personal here, but we're talking about like a learning disability thing here. Or?
Yes, I have. Well, people can probably tell from my videos, I have a severe case of ADHD. Okay, and let me go into this story. So my brother has a 3-year-old or 4-year-old, and his name is Noah, and he just went to his preschool, like, where they had to assess him for preschool, and my mom went because he lives at my mom's house. The teacher goes, wow, this kid has a big personality. And as soon as my mom heard that, she was like, oh my God, your brother Jared had your son, Justin, because I have a big personality, and she said they were repeating a lot of the same stuff that they said about me when I went to my first schooling event. So I know that, that was the biggest fear of me and Brittany having kids was I don't want my son to get treated how I got treated in school because it was not very good, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I had people that I went to school with that were dyslexic and had different learning disabilities and whatnot, and that was always probably, listen to what I say here. Get past the first part of what I say because this is going to sound wrong. That was always my favorite part of school. It wasn't, and it wasn't that I like rejoiced in other people's struggles or something like that, but I liked it because that was always my strong suit in school. I always had a super easy time in school. I very rarely had to put forward much effort, and I always got great results. But the thing that I liked about going to school, I hated the social aspect of it most of the time, but I really liked helping other people out. And I was always one of the first people done, and I concentrated on speed and efficiency more than I ever did on quality of work. The quality of work just kind of always was there, and I'm not bragging. I'm just stating the fact here. So, but when I would get finished first, then I would have people that I could help out, and that's what I really liked about school.
Yeah, see, like nobody wanted to help me out because 90% of the time, I mean, from about third grade on, I had my own chair in the principal's office where if somebody was sitting in it, they would have to move.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I have, like when Brittany kept saying she wanted to have a kid, like I'm sure that I'm going to do a video of the PTA, first PTA or parent teacher conference. I can remember, I think my mom came home crying from mine for about 7 years straight till she finally told him she finally said, just leave the fucking kid alone. And they always said that I wouldn't amount to anything. So I feel like I have a big chip on my shoulder with that for a little bit. And that motivates me somewhat to be not a total fuck up, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, it would be one thing, right? You took life's trials and you turned them into a personal challenge that you made that your motivation. So you use that for good, which that's a common thing in anyone who's successful. I think of what I did academically when I was in school, and I guess if anybody's this deep in the stream, they probably deserve to know this information. But I quit going to school after 7th grade, and my parents gave me the option. My older brother had just got done with the 9th grade, and they gave him the option. He opted to go into college, and they gave me that option, and I said, I don't really feel like going into college yet. I was 13 years old, but I tested into that. I could do that. And my point in saying this is not to glorify myself, but when I went back to school after 9 years of being out of school, they test you when you're, I won't go into great detail, but I did really well in tests. So they allowed me to do that. Consequently, I never learned that I had to work in order to get results in school. I could always wing it and do extremely, extremely well. And because of that, when I went to college, a couple different community colleges and university and so on and so forth, I never found it interesting, and the motivation was just very rarely there. consequently, I've been to a number of different schools, and as far as number of credit hours, I've just kind of bounced around and gone sporadically. But I had somebody kind of pose this question to me in a roundabout way, and that's what I tell them. I said, well, I'm the smartest truck driver you'll ever meet, but I never turned that into a personal challenge to like go become a physics major or something like that. When I was in school, I went for engineering, and I took a lot of different classes that most people thought were hard. But if you don't learn how to deal with challenges like that, and you're not tested early on, it's difficult to make up for that, I think, later in life. When everything is so easy for you, you don't learn to work at it as much as a lot of other people do. And that's why some of the smartest people I know and highest intellect people I know that I've encountered have some of the most menial jobs that I've ever seen. And there have been studies on this where if you're looking for success, tangible success in business, it's better most of the time. Most of the experts agree it's better to have a slightly higher than average IQ, because you don't have as much innate intelligence that you just kind of coast by on. You learn to work at things, and you have that ingrained in you. And I'm not get me right on this here. I think learning disability is something different. That's not something that goes hand in hand with level of IQ. But you're talking about in terms of just motivation, having faced those kind of struggles before. You're right. That is why you're motivated, and that's why you'll be a success, because you've dealt with that and you've overcome that. You're used to overcoming that. You're used to exceeding people's expectations of what you should become. You should, quote unquote, become in life.
Yeah, Maxwell Peters said, this is just I was going to touch on this earlier. Junkie is the smartest dumb guy you'll ever meet. And when I was drag racing, a guy told me one time, he said, you are the smartest illiterate man that I've ever met in my entire life. And I knew exactly what he meant by that statement is because he could never read my handwriting, I worked with one crew chief that I'm still friends with, and when I went to other places, they would always say, they would call and be like, Doug, why was this guy a leader at your team? And, over here, he's struggling to do this. And he said, well, you're missing the whole point of what Justin's skill set is. Just because he can't read or write, he will look at something and tell you that it's fucked up. And he goes, 90% of the time, he's right. If you listen to what he says and don't worry about, how he does his day-to-day job, he will refine your program into one of the smoothest operations that you've ever seen. And he was the one that said that. He goes, you're the smartest dumb guy, smartest illiterate man I've ever met. He goes, I don't understand how, you can't read, you can't write, but you can tell me exactly what this number is off the top of your head. And that's, he admired me for that. You know what I'm saying? Because he took the time to get through the wall where a lot of other people wouldn't take that time. And that's where I feel like sometimes I'm fighting on YouTube. Like some of the stuff that I say, I believe that I could help other people. They just got to take the time to watch some of the background stuff and see kind of how I do things, that I kind of know a lot about certain things on how to, fix and repair stuff. Just because I'm not the greatest, it doesn't look the smoothest. I get the job done, and it's not going to be fucked up.
Yeah. Well, people have, I guess the moral of that story is people have different strengths and weaknesses. And you try to surround yourself with people that are going to be the inverse of you. I'm not particularly outgoing. But I can do about any job out there. And I usually pick it up much quicker than just about anyone else. but I kind of need that counterweight. If I was to go into business, I would need the more laid back, amiable people's person to kind of fill in for where my weaknesses are. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
guess it would depend largely on what it is I was doing. But in cello, my left eye is twitching probably because I'm tired.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying, like,
And also cello, also it also twitches because I'm a thug. All right, I just want to make that clear to you, cello. Like I said before, I am a thug. Okay, so don't ever question my left eye.
yeah, I mean, I haven't really, I mean, I'm sure that people could figure that out, that I'm not you know, I'm not going to write you a doctorate philosophy on how to do something, but I am going to do a pretty good job of,
Well, so
getting the project done.
you gravitate towards certain kind of work though, and it's stuff that you're interested in and it's stuff that you're good at. Now you're not the only one in the community that's kind of alluded to that in the past, but thanks for going into depth on that. I have a very good friend who, I'll keep this kind of intentionally vague here. He's got the kind of job that it's a smart person job, quote unquote, and he works with a lot of other quote unquote smart people. And he was remarking to me a couple of years ago at how many stupid people he works with. He goes, I don't know how these people got these advanced degrees. Some of them, I don't know how they got this job. They can't get anything done. And I said, yeah, well, it's because, and I won't say his name, but blank, you're smart, but you have a blue collar work ethic. That's the difference. You've had a job before where you've had to have something to show for what you accomplished something at the end of a day. You have to have some tangible evidence of, well, so and so didn't just show up, clock in, was here for 8 hours, and then clocked out at the end of the day, and nothing changed that day. Well, he was remarking to me at how shocked he was, how he wouldn't have thought that possible. Well, he was pretty new to, shall we say, adulthood at that point. And so he was shocked, having thought when he was in school, well, when I go and work for this such and such company where all the smart people are, and it's difficult to get a job there, everybody's going to have.
They're going to be on the same level,
right? And they're going to have to. And I think it's that way at any job, at any large company. Yeah, there are some people have more intelligence in certain veins of life than other people, but I mean, you put those people out there doing what you're doing, needing to get the asphalt delivered every night and needing to get the truck fixed, and I'm not going to say that one job is any better or any worse than the other one. I'm just going to say that they're both necessary. So the best of both worlds is to be able to do both of those jobs, but at least be able to do one or the other. What about those people that, yeah, they can't do what you do. They can't be a trucking company owner. They can't work on the truck, but also they can't even do their own job. The smart people work where they went to a minimum 4 years in school, became engineers, in some cases got master's degrees and even PhDs, and they can't actually accomplish anything. What did they get good at? Well, I'll tell you what they got good at. They got good at going to school.
Yes.
That's what they got good at.
See, I was never good at school, and I'm still, I'm not, I could tell you that one of the main reasons I married Brittany is because she was good at that type of stuff. And if we're gonna have when I look at my marriage, it's a good equal partnership. I am great at common sense philosophy and thinking, and she is a lot better at the book type stuff that I would say, I'm not going to be sitting down doing Enzo's homework with him. That's not my specialty. I would rather take him out and say, we got to take this apart and put it back together. What's your opinion on this? How we're going to go about doing this?
Right.
And that's where I do a lot of, I do a lot of my, best work is improvising on what you have to fix a problem and what skills do you know that you have to resource that. Even if you don't have the right tools, what can you make quickly to get the job done, period.
Yeah, you sought out a partner to complement your weaknesses.
Yeah, and that's what I think that, all good marriages is a good 50-50 partnership. One, if you're both good at the same things, it's not going to, your marriage is not going to last very long, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I am not that, I just look at that as a different thing. Maybe that's off topic, but
No, I think it actually it's not off topic. I mean, there isn't really a topic, but we're talking about a partnership in business, and you're talking about a partnership in life, and also your wife does do a lot of the that type of work for your business stuff too. So that definitely applies.
Yeah, like if me and Brittany got divorced, it would cost me a bunch of money to find somebody to replace her. Because I wouldn't trust them. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't lose my shit. I would lose.
I got an idea for you here. Next anniversary, when you get her some flowers and write her a card or whatever, don't write that on it.
Yeah, I probably won't. But
let's not ever get divorced, honey, because if we do, it's gonna cost me a lot, not just in marriage but also in business.
Yeah, well, like I get that.
Yeah,
and
I'm just teasing.
Oh, she'll tell me that. Like, if I ever leave your ass, you're in a world of fuck. And I know that.
That's classic.
Let's not beat around the bush here, honey. And like this week we had to go buy a new dishwasher because ours broke, but. And she was like, "I'm not cooking till we get a new dishwasher." I'm like, "Go buy a goddamn dishwasher." We're not even arguing about this point. You needed this thing from the beginning. Let's get this done. But I think if, I look at my business as a, kind of a partnership, I guess. You're always in a dance, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like. Shit, there's a bunch of stuff, That's why, like, when, I look at people that have been successful, and you got to think, 10 years of my life, I had, I didn't work with people that were millionaires. They were billionaires that own these companies that I work for. And you can pick a lot of stuff up just by watching them. It's unbelievable. If you watch somebody that's successful, you will they'll do subtle things that you'll be like, oh my God, I never really thought about that, but, that's how they got to be where they're at.
Yeah. See you, Frank.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh God,
Yeah.
You can learn a lot.
Yeah. I think this is a good place to end it. We've been going for 2 hours, and that's about all the time I got. But
all right.
You got any last words?
No, I might go live on my channel for a little bit if people still want to bullshit.
Yeah, you're going to be, even though you're 3 hours ahead, I've got a bunch of driving to do tomorrow, so I gotta get to bed. But if you go live, I'm sure you'll get all these people. Plus, I'll probably be in there for a few minutes too.
Yeah, no, I'll go live and I'll talk about, people will, want to ask me more questions on mine, but. Like MD Lee, it's been great. I'm glad I opened up a little bit. Hopefully people will start understanding I just want people to understand, kind of where I come from sometimes. Not all that, Yeah,
no, I get it. It's helpful to understand how you arrived where try to see things from your perspective, then you can understand how people reach the conclusions that they reach when you get more of the background information. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, and it may make sense of how they do videos and shit like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, Well, I'll sign off. The Snap-on Junkie is going to go live. Chris Mosley, that's Dal's brother, younger brother, was asking. That's who that is, Chris, is the Snap-on Junkie. He's easy to find on YouTube. Also, if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Jay Young's new channel. He's looking at live streaming at some point in the not-too-distant future. And also subscribe to Chuck from Auto Pro Interiors, his second channel, which is, I believe, Trim Life Show. He's going to start doing more live streaming on that. But
yes, guys, we took a month off of Chuck's 9-hour live streams. They're coming back.
All right, you guys. Aside from that, Gary D, the homie Hector. He mentions the homie Hector for sure. Subscribe to him. HOMIEHEKTOR, the homie Hector. There's a bunch of other ones. Chris the Mechanic, Dutch the Diesel Technician, SGT Live. Everybody, I'll cut it off, but I'll end by saying, win if you can, lose if you must, but no matter what, always cheat.
See you later.